Hey Hebrew fans, this is Todd, and today I'm going to open up my Skeletor Deluxe 1/6 scale figure timed edition. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Now, what's funny about this particular figure is I wanted it, not super bad, not like I wanted the He-Mans, because the He-Man figures, I have a 2000X Skeletor statue, and I wanted the figures to go with the statue, but I just kind of wanted this, and they were sold out, so I figured, okay, I'll just go ahead and click the little link that says notify me when back in stock, figuring it's not going to happen. And I did the same for Battle Cat too, and they ended up sending me an email saying, hey, we got some back in stock. And I'm like, oh. So I went into the website and I checked it out, and sure enough, they had some back in stock, and I had to decide at that moment, am I going to spend the money or am I not? So I decided to spend the money. And when I did, I had buyer's remorse almost immediately. I was like, oh man, I should not have spent all that money. That's a lot of dough for this figure. And so this thing's been sitting in my room for a while, debating what to do with it. Do I sell it on eBay? What do I do? And then the 2000X Skeletor came out from Mondo, and I thought, you know what? I don't really need this anymore. And so I'm sitting there thinking about it and thinking about it. I'm like, you know what? This has been sitting in there so long, and I keep tripping on it. Just open this stupid thing. So that is what today's about. I am opening the stupid thing. So let's check this out and see how cool it is, or if I am going to have more buyer's remorse after I open it. So let's look at this thing. So first off, if you don't know what Mondo figures are, they are 12-inch figures, and they are amazingly cool, but they are also like uber expensive. So if you want to get a Mondo figure, you are literally taking out a personal loan, probably. Well, not quite a personal loan, but it's expensive. They are crazy expensive. And I was looking at the Skeletor, and I was like, you know, I kind of want to get that. But the non-timed edition didn't have all the cool accessories and the cloth cape, and I really wanted the cloth cape. And so I'm like, okay, I'll just put a thing in here. What are the odds? And sure enough, bada bing, bada boom, I ended up getting an email, like I mentioned earlier, and the temptation was laid. The temptation was too great. Ugh. So let's check this out. Now, I don't have a lot of Mondo figures. I have what you see here. I have She-Ra, and I have more of these boxes on order, so I can put them all in the boxes once I get them all. I have a Scareglow, and this was my second Scareglow. The first one I got was pretty cool. I wasn't too happy when this one came out because this one was even cooler, and so I ended up taking the parts from the other one that I wanted to keep. I think it was the hands or something. And then I was going to do some swapping on the boots, which you can't swap the boots on these right here. They're actually glued in, so no boot swapping, because the other boots looked more like the classic figure. And I wanted to keep this because I could pretend like the classics figure grew to a giant, scary ghost monster. Because in comparison side, the classics, these guys are monstrous. In fact, I actually have another He-Man that's not shown here right now that I actually turned into a custom Titus to use with classics. Anyway, whew, that's a lot of explanation. And then I have these three He-Man figures, and it's kind of funny because just like this timed edition Skeletor, it was one He-Man with three costumes. And when I first opened the He-Man, his waist snapped right in half. And I was like, man! So I noticed that other people complained about it too, about the waist just snapping so easily. And they said, just contact Mondo, they'll send you a new blank body. And I did, and they did. Well, now that I had two bodies, it was driving me crazy to have that third costume just sitting around. So I went and bought another Mondo, but not the timed edition one, just the regular one, just so I could do the whole costume thing and have three of them. So one of these is the one that breaks easy. I think it's this one here. And the other two are actual full. Well, one is the replacement timed edition, and the other one is the non-timed edition. So now I have all three of them. Hey, I'm gonna go ahead and pimp some of my stuff really quick. These cuffs are my custom cuffs, and I love them. Love them, love them. They are so cool compared to the cuffs we got with them originally. And I don't sell the red ones anymore, but I do have some silver ones still for sale on my eBay. If you click the link for my eBay in the description, you can get a set of those. They're just about gone. I'm not making any more, so once they're gone, they are gone. Anyway, just a little quick promotion there at the same time while I was at it. But let's get back to Skeletor, which is what we're here for. I'm gonna move you, He-Man. Move out of the way. There we go. Yeah, it's funny too because that blank body didn't come with any more heads or any more pieces, so I had to buy some extra chunks on eBay. I bought an extra knife boot so they can all have their knife boot, and I think I bought an extra head too. I don't remember, but I remember I did have to buy a few extra pieces just so I could pick extra hands. That's what I had to buy. It came with no hands. That's right. All right, so look at that. Okay, now this is ridiculous. It does come with the original 80s style head, which just cracks me up when they do that because it just does not look right. It just looks wrong. But there is Skeletor, and he does look really, really, really cool. Oh, and there is a picture of him there. And on the back, it says, now this is interesting. This is a 2000X story, not the same story that was in the original 80s comics, so it's a little different. It says, the evil Lord of Destruction, mortally wounded by his brother King Randor, Kildor was revived by Hordak, the Dark Arts Master. He merged Kildor with an extra-dimensional being, forever transforming him into Skeletor, the evil overlord of evil. Let's see, the next it says, purged all the desire for all but supreme control. Skeletor was consumed by his greed for Castle Grayskull, home of the cosmos' great power source. He assembled Eternia's evil warriors, but found them no match for his arch-enemy, He-Man, the most powerful man in the universe. Now, Lord Skeletor had amassed the ultimate arsenal to capture the Grayskull throne at last. With battle armor, terror claws, and his fearsome dragon blaster, he'll prove once and for all who's the ruler of Eternia. Dun 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 dun. Oh look, Emiliano. That guy is so amazingly cool. I love his artwork, and I love a lot of this cool stuff that he does. Awesome guy. I don't really know any other people on the list. All right. Oh, look. This is not a toy. Do not let the grandchildren play with it. Not a toy. I should take a picture of that and put it on the outside of my room. This room is not full of toys. It's full of collector items. All right. All right. Let's get this puppy open. Oh, just look at that. I don't have to look anymore. I can actually open and touch. Oh! Let's cut that tape. The smoke all pours out of here. Dun 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 dun. Now, I know this is crazy, but sometimes this plastic on the edges can be really sharp and just slice you. I have been sliced before by this plastic that these parts are shipped in. So, warning to all, be careful of the edge. It comes with this giant cardboard green blast, which I'm not going to use for anything. Micro-packed recyclable. Yes, it is going into my recyclables. I know people think it's crazy that I don't keep the packages. Just yesterday, I finally threw out my Super 7 Snake Mountain box. I've been hanging on to that box for way too many years. It was in the garage, and I didn't know what it was. I forgot what it was. It's this big old box, and my wife was using it to put items on for painting, and the outer box. And I said, why do you have that box still? And she goes, well, let's get rid of it. I said, okay. And I opened it up, and lo and behold, inside was the Snake Mountain. Snake Mountain. Let's lay him down. Let's just position this right about there. And let's get these layers open. It's like lasagna in layers. Now it's funny. I know I have a little bit of buyer's remorse for this. There's one thing I really want, and that is the giant dragon from Super 7. And I know I didn't buy him when he came out. It's been driving me crazy, but the price was just so high. I just could not afford it at the time. And well, I probably could have afforded it, but I didn't want to afford it because the shipping just drove me crazy. I thought it was free. And then when I saw the shipping price, I was like, too much, forget it. And I ended up backing out. But I have found a source somewhere I can buy it. And I think I might spend the extra cash to get it. Alright, so here is the dragon. Oh, that dragon's so cool looking. Now, if you guys didn't know, they had a special version of Skeletor a long time ago called Dragon Blast Skeletor. And he wore this dragon on his back. And this dragon basically would shoot fire out of it or spray people with a mist. And it was kind of cool. But it was never articulated or any kind of movement. So we have tail articulation. We have the midsection moves. We have a mouth moves here. We have a collar that feels like it's affixed. I was really hoping it was removable so you just use it. Oh, his whole head comes off. Yeah, the collar is definitely affixed on there. It ain't coming off. Just for kicks, let's just try to give it a little tug here to see. See, that'd been cool if they would have made it come off. You know what? I don't think that's supposed to come off either. It looks like there's glue right there. That, yeah, it was glued. Now it's not going to stay on until I put something in there to hold it in place. And then, no. You know what? I have some poster putty sitting right here. Poster putty, always to the rescue. And we'll just make a little round strip of poster putty on here. And we will just stick that right around town Freddie Brown. And once I get that all the way around, I just kind of mash it over the top a little bit. And let's jam it back in there. Jam on it. That poster putty does amazing things. I use it for all kinds of stuff. I should have heated it up first because it gets a little thinner and it would have gone into the seams better. But yeah, it's going to work. Okay, there we go. No glue required. Got the poster putty in there. All right, so his shoulders move. His paws move, but they only seem to move up. Oh, those claws are sharp. Be careful, kitties. Don't hurt yourself on the claws. So you can put his claws up more, but not really down too much. Ooh, those are sharp. Then he has a hook here to hook to the armor. That is funny. All right. I think what do we got here? Oh, same thing. Got foot articulation there as well. All right, that was fun. What do we got here? A green puff of smoke. This must be what comes out of his mouth. Oh yeah, see right there inside his mouth, he's got a little spot to hook this to. So he can have his green mist come out whoosh, instead of fireball. His mist of acid. All right, over here we have the battle armor. Battle armor. And it's held together with magnets. Such a cool idea. He-Man's was the same way. Now, it's kind of hard to pull apart at first because it was kind of a little sticky from the plastic. And we have two plates that come with it. We have a regular plate. There it is. And we have a 1/ plate. No 2/ plate like the original toy I had. Now what's cool about this is you can tell which way it goes. I had a really hard time with the He-Man one trying to figure out which way it went. It took you a while to figure out which way to put it on, because if you didn't know, but the Bat's pretty obvious which way it goes. There's no question. And they made a little key on there too, so it only goes one way. I gotta stop this video for a second. It's just blurry as all get out. Alright, there we go. That should look better. So it's got a little key in there. Unfortunately, the little magnet piece in the middle is kind of sticking up a little bit. So it's like it doesn't even key anyway. There you go, though. That's cool. I should check the He-Man one. Did they put a key on it to make sure it's organized right? Let's take a look. Nope. No keying. And see, it looks just about the same both ways. I just happen to know that this should be longer on the bottom. That's the way they designed it originally, so that's the only little way you know. It's by that itty bitty point sticking a little bit longer on the bottom. Ugh. He came off his base. Stand, man, stand. Alright. Let's take a look at the other armor here. And this armor here is for the dragon. And it's the same way. It's magnetized. Magnetized. Oh, it's got some key points too. Some more just magnetized. And then he just sits right there on the shoulder. Now, of course, if I didn't move, it'd probably fit really good on the back there. I'll have to figure out the best way to mount his legs. So cool. Ugh. My poster putty's coming loose. No. I will figure out how to get that to stay much better in the future. Alright, so what else do we got in here? We got some crazy heads. We have the Skeletor head here. Which is funny, I missed out on the Skeletor head last time because I bought the wrong version of a He-Man. So I did end up getting it. Hold up for a second, I want to show you, which is kind of funny. Something. Let me pause this while I get my item. Alright, I got it. A long time ago, they had a He-Man head. It looked like the original head that came with Skeletor. And the Skeletor with He-Man. And I was planning on using that head to go on my 12-inch He-Man. And when I stuck it on there, it was just such a beanie little head in comparison. But I did find that it worked with the Titus body. Now, it does still look a little silly. But here is the Titus with that head on him. And it does kind of work. But the 12-inch giant He-Man figures, you can see how much smaller they are because there's the armor. I had to wrap it around a couple times. I had to cut the middle part to make it work. But you can kind of see how that kind of works with the Titus figure. It does look kind of strange, but it does work. Anyway, I'll set him aside. He is not Mondo. But I don't really know who would put this head on. I think it's more of just kind of a funny thing. But it is reminiscent of the original Skeletor head we got as kids in the 80s. But it just looks silly next to the heads that we're getting now. So let's take a look at another head. Alright, we got this head here. Oh, articulated jaw. Does his mouth move? No, I didn't think so. Now, I'm not a huge fan of this head either. It's just kind of weird with the beady red eyes. But it is better than the 80s version head. And then we have this head here. And he's got the same weird little beady eyes, just bigger. But still, his jaw is articulated, but not as easily to articulate. So there we go. Alright, let's continue on. Let's pull out the Skeletor himself. I'm going to set the rest of this stuff down. down lower so we can really examine this Skeletor. Okay, let me get this camera set up right. Oh, this is amazing. Amazing. I am so glad I bought this and opened it. Oh man, the blue is on point. We've had so many Skeletors where the blue is just wrong. But this is like the ultimate correct color Skeletor. Now his waist is kind of tight. Let me try to loosen that up without breaking it. That is really tight. Let's talk about articulation because we got a lot here. So we have ankle articulation, not a lot because it's kind of stiff. We have double jointed knees. Oh, those are really stiff too. Don't break. I'll have to heat them up and move them. Then we have his hip movement there. We have waist movement, but it's stuck too. There we go. Got a little bit of waist movement. We have an upper crunch. And then we have shoulder movement. Bicep cut. And then we have a single jointed elbow. And then we have his hands move back and forth. And it looks like you can rotate it around so you can go up and down too eventually if you rotate it. We got this wrist cuff that can be removed and changes out with something else. We have this elbow joint over here, which is frozen. I'll have to heat that up and do it. And then we have wrist movement over here. And look at this armor. Look at that. That is so cool. And then, of course, we have his hood. That is kind of floaty on there. And we have this head. This is the head I'm going to use. This is the best head. And his jaw is articulated too. That is so cool. All right. That is just amazing. I am flabbergasted at how cool this Skeletor looks. I've really got to straighten that waist out though. It's going to drive me crazy until I get that. Maybe it's just his loin. Oh, it's the loincloth is crooked, not his body. There we go. Oh man, that is so cool. I was not expecting it to be that cool. Okay, I guess Buyer's Remorse is over now. I do not have any. Let me go ahead and open up the next layer down of this plastic box here. The next layer of lasagna. Ugh. And inside here we have all kinds of goodies. Swords, battle axes, havoc staff, stand, claw arms, different hands. We got the locking mechanisms for the dragon. We have the stand here. And this is a double thing too. Another layer of lasagna. Well, you know, before I open this layer of lasagna, let's see what's in the last layer. I just opened. This one has some stuff in here. This particular layer only has one item. It looks like it's his cape. The cloth cape that I definitely wanted to use. It's funny, I thought he had a plastic cape too. I guess the other version gets no cape whatsoever. That really stinks. I can't imagine not having any cape whatsoever for my massive, awesome, cool Skeletor. Oh, and he has part of his stand in here too. Okay, so here is his hood. If he so chose to use the cloth hood. I'm not going to use the cloth hood. I'm just going to use the cloth cape. Wow, that is huge. Okay, I'm guessing this just goes around his neck. It has a hole back here for his sword to slide in. That's what I'm guessing. Shout Skeletor, we're going to strangle you with your own cape. I'm going to have to take us off again when I am figuring it out. I know it sounds funny to use the hard helmet instead of the cloth one, but I just like the aesthetic of this. I might change it out. I don't know. We'll see. All right. Let's go to the last layer of the lasagna. The Skeletor lasagna. I'll get some sharp scissors this time. Where is the tape for this one? Oh, into the screen. Okay, this doesn't have tape, it just has little locking pieces all the way along. Look at that. Alright. Now, his stand is different than everybody else's, because everybody else has the same stand, and it's these small little puzzle piece looking stands that aren't really puzzle pieces. And it's so strange that he has his own big giant round one. And we have the piece that goes in there. We have the metal piece. Alright, I'm going to set this aside and I'll pull them out from over here on the side. Now the number one thing we all want to see is that Havoc staff. The Staff of Havoc. That is massively cool. But before we put it in his hand, we have to give him a hand that can hold the Havoc staff. Oh, I'm going to have to heat that up to get it out. It's just too cold in this room. Okay, I'll be right back. Alright, he has gone through extensive bathing. Bathing each limb one at a time. I was very careful not to get the loincloth wet underneath because it's furry. But now his knees move. Ooh ah. And his other knee moves. Hooray. And the hard part is getting this shoulder to move. It was really frozen. It's still a little tight. Ugh. And I got this elbow working now. This side was kind of tough too to get the shoulder working. And this elbow was already working before I went in there. But now, I can take off his hand. Hooray! Alright, let's stand him back up. Whew, that was a lot of effort. A whole lot more than I was hoping to spend on trying to get it to work. So now let's go ahead and choose which hand we want. I have these two hands. Oops, almost look the same, but they're slightly different. This one's a little more angled. I guess not, they're both kind of angled. A little bit more open grip in this one, it looks like. They're so similar though. Sharp nails, not quite as sharp. I'm going to use this hand just because it looks like it'd be easier to hold the Havoc staff later on. So I'm going to pop this one in. Like I said, these come off. So that's pretty cool. Of course, now it's still wet everywhere. And I'm glad these are so cool. I didn't want to have to make new wrist cuffs for Skeletor too. These ones work just fine. Just fine. Oh, it's tight. So I guess it's a good thing. Alright, so now let's put that Havoc staff in his hand finally. I'm going to leave this hand like that. I like it. I like it. And let's pop this in there. Now, if this is like the He-Man weapons, I found originally that some of the weapons needed to have a clear coat put on them, or they'll end up leaving gray marks in your figure's hands. But this actually looks like it's been painted pretty well. I just cannot get that on there. I should have heated this hand up too while I was at it. There we go. There we go. Now he has his Havoc staff. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. All right. Whew. What a pain. Let's look at the rest of accessories. We have his cool sword, which is the same as He-Man's sword, which makes it really cool. I'm glad they didn't redesign it, just left it the same, just painted it purple. We got this awesome battle axe with the ball on top, and they did it right. They put it down low enough. When they made this in Classics, they put it way too high and it just looked weird. And the blade is purple. That's pretty cool. And then we have the Terror Claws. Dun 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 dun. Now this is weird. I thought his hand would just go inside of there, but it replaces his hand. So let's just go ahead and replace the right hand and see how it looks. Just because I'm curious. Now if I was going to use the Terror Claws with this guy, I would stick on the battle armor too. So I guess you gotta slide this on. And then stick the hand in there. And there you go. Now you got your Terror Claw Skeletor. Alright, anyway. I'm going to keep this pretty simple. I'm not going to get into all this craziness of all these different cool accessories and stuff. My Skeletor is going to stay pretty boring. He is basically... Huh, it says left on there. Oh, psh, it's the wrong one. Has a little L in there. I'm trying to shove it on, trying to figure out why it's not working. Yeah, and you can see it's already black in here from the sliding this on. So I'm going to have to put a clear... Yeah, look, I already scraped some paint off there trying to get that on there. I'm going to have to heat this hand up and put a clear coat on this to protect it before I use it. But there you go. Quite the cool figure. So, what I want to know from you guys is, what do you guys think? Did you get one? Are you going to get one? Did I make it so it's like, you know what? That is pretty cool. I do want one of those. Or are you like, yeah, bro, that's just not worth what you paid for it. I think he is really cool. Very cool. Love the battle axe. Now, I'm not going to collect a bunch of Mondo. I look at Mondo as statues in my mind. So, because of that, I'm only going to just get a few just to use as my statues. Now, this is supposed to go in his crotch, which I think is really bizarre. It seems like a really strange way to do that. Not a fan of that. My other ones, I put them way up on their armpits, as you can see. But this one looks like it will not go that high. This shaft is a lot shorter, so I don't think it's going to go up on his armpits. Even if I stretched it, even if I stretched it all the way out, it still won't go on his armpits. But he's got such big feet, I don't think I even need to have the stand to hold him up. He can hold himself up pretty well. Alright, well, thanks for watching. And like they say in the 1987 movie... Hold on a second. Let me line this up right. There we go. Good journey. Let me try that again. Good journey. Bye now.
If you found enjoyment, like, subscribe, and ring the bell. Do it.